Hello and welcome to the TankSpot Icecrown Citadel Raid Guide. My name is Aliena and in this video I'll cover everything you need to know about the normal mode 10-man version of the Professor Putricide encounter. Currently you only get 10 attempts per raid lockout period to kill this boss. A raid setup of 2 tanks, 2 to 3 healers and 5 to 6 DPS is recommended. This is a 3-phase encounter and in its 10-man version, Putricide has 9.76 million combined health. The first phase change occurs around 80% and the second phase change occurs at 35%. On each phase change you get a debuff called Tear Gas that stuns you for the duration of Putricide running towards his table and guzzling potions. This fight is by and large kited in all 3 phases and there's a lot of movement and raid awareness required from each raid member. Before the fight starts, assign one person in your raid group, preferably the off-tank, to possess an abomination to help you throughout the first 2 phases of the fight. Having an abomination active will make your raid take constant AoE damage, but you need them to counteract Putricide's various mechanics. To become an abomination, you need to click the table behind Putricide. The most obvious mechanic and a constant throughout all 3 phases are the ooze piles that Putricide will toss at random players. He will toss out 2 of those at a time that land at the selected raid member's feet and deal around 4k damage per second to anyone standing in them. The main task of the person controlling the abomination is to eat those slime puddles to reduce their size and keep the ground free of ooze. Eating an ooze pile gives the abomination 4 energy for another very important ability that I'll cover in a minute. During the first 2 phases, Putricide will alternately summon 2 types of adds, volatile oozes and gas clouds. When this happens, the emote Professor Putricide begins to cast Unstable Experiment will show up on your screen, and depending on which type of add he's summoning, you'll either see a brown steam or a green stream of slime appear from one of the tubes in his lab. The first add he summons in every fight will be a slime. The slimes always appear on the north side of the room, and the gas clouds always from the south. Volatile oozes will, after spawning, fixate on a target and root it in place while moving towards it at a pretty quick pace. Should an ooze not be defeated before reaching its target, it will explode, dealing 70k damage shared between all targets within 10 yards of the originally targeted player, and knocking them back. Here's where another ability of the abomination comes in handy. Oozes as well as gas clouds can have their movement speed slowed by 50%, which gives you substantially more time to defeat the ooze before it detonates. Gas clouds will also fixate on a player after spawning, but instead of rooting it in place, it will place a debuff on the selected player that gives him or her 10 stacks of gaseous bloat. Every 2 seconds, some minor damage will be inflicted to the player and 1 stack of the debuff will drop off. If the cloud has not reached its target within 20 seconds, the debuff will disappear and it will pick a new target to apply the debuff to and chase until killed. Should it reach its target before all stacks are dropped off, it will inflict rate-weight damage depending on the amount of debuff stacks left. It hurts. It really does. You don't really want to play around with this. Both add types should be slowed down as soon as they pop, and since you already know that the very first experiment will be an ooze spawning at the north side of the room, you should position your raid accordingly at the south side of the room. Ranged can start burning it as soon as it pops, and once it picks a target, melee should also join in. As you can see well in this video, if you fail to kill the ooze before it reaches its target, it will pick another one and repeat the process, so burning adds always has utmost priority. The last mechanic you get introduced to in the first phase is gas bombs. Putricide will throw those out in sets of 2, and standing on them will, how novel, make you explode. They look like brown little flasks on the ground, so avoid them at all costs. Once he reaches 80% health, Putricide will stun the raid, run to his desk, and grow to tentacles. Those basically translate to another ability he gains in Phase 2, Malleable Goo. This basically hurls a portable slime teddy bear through the air at the area a randomly targeted player stands in, and will after travel time land, and anyone still remaining in the area will take around 15k damage and have their casting and attack speed slowed by 200% for 15 seconds. Malleable Goo prefers ranged targets but will target melee if no one is at a range. All mechanics from Phase 1 still continue on along with Malleable Goo until you hit Phase 3 at 35%. Once again, Putricide will run to his table and guzzle down a potion, becoming even more mutated, and this time gaining a buff called Mutated Strength, which gives him a 50% damage and attack speed bonus. Attacks made against him will also cause him to stack up Mutated Plague on your tank, which inflicts rate-weight damage depending on the number of stacks. We found 6 stacks to be an instant raid wipe, so to counteract that we had our main tank and off-tank taunt off of each other, so neither of them reached more than 4 stacks, which was still a very healable dot. You lose the Abomination once you trigger Phase 3, which is why it's an excellent idea to have your off-tank control it, since he'd pretty much just be useless up until that point anyway. There will be no more oozes or gas clouds spawning, but Malleable Goo and gas bombs still happen. Also, since you lose the Abomination to eat slime off of the ground, this phase needs to go fast or you'll just get overrun by expanding slime. This kind of acts like a soft enrage timer similar to the Lady Vash encounter in Serpent Shrine Cavern. Make sure to save all your cooldowns for this last part and keep moving, paying attention to the stuff Putricide will throw at you, and you have yourselves a kill. Good luck! Thank you for watching this movie. As always, feel free to ask questions or add suggestions either on YouTube or in the strategy thread on TankSpot.com. Also, TankSpot donors can download all of these movies in high definition directly from our servers, so if you'd like to learn more about that, just click the second link in the movie information box.